If you're on the wig journey long enough, you may get to the point where you remember how hard it was in the beginning, and some wigs were just sort of your nemesis yet your dream. Today we're going to talk about Sweet Talk by Gabor. I have her in the color Mahogany, and I fell in love with this style early on, but she is really full and she has a fair amount of Permatease. So while I couldn't really wear her in the beginning, I'm just loving her now. So take heart, you do grow and evolve on this journey, and sometimes it just takes time for you to get used to wearing wigs. And we're going to talk all about this beautiful girl, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I couldn't wear her then, but I love her now. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. I am partnering with name brand wigs to bring you this review. They sent me Sweet Talk so I could review her, and I am so grateful to them. I really love showing you all different kinds of styles, and it is fun for me to revisit a style from my past, and they do an awful lot to support this wig wearing community. They are there to help you if you are struggling, so you can always email them support@namebrandwigs.com. Let them know what you're looking for. Send them some inspiration pictures, maybe a picture of your bio hair the way you wish it were today, and see what recommendations they can come up with. I can save you money on Gabor wigs and most of the brands that they carry. I'll put some details in the description box below. You can just drop it down, find the link to this wig, find a coupon code, and just take a deep breath. You will get there. Let's take a look at this one from all sides. So right off the bat, I will tell you this wig has a fair amount of Permatease. It is a very voluminous wig, especially for the length, with all of these layers and a coating of Permatease across the entire cap. All back here, all up here. This wig absolutely has some volume. Now, I try to think about my own experience and what I hear from my wig sisters, because I'm so blessed to have an opportunity to talk to so many of you, and also just kind of what I know people struggle with. And while I'm not saying this wig won't work for the new wig wearer, I will say that this probably will feel like too much hair for the majority of brand new wig wearers who come to the journey due to prolonged hair loss. I think there's a difference if you're coming to wigs for fashion, or even if you're coming to wigs, maybe you're going through chemo or some health crisis and your hair is falling out suddenly, but you haven't dealt with a prolonged thinning of your hair. I think you're coming at this from a different place than a woman who's been losing her hair for many, many years and has been dealing with really thin hair. That was my journey. So coming to this wig early in my journey probably wasn't the smartest decision for me, because it is a lot of volume and a lot more hair than was ever used to seeing on myself. That's where these handy dandy headbands come in. So the reason I like to kind of give you the pros and cons, the reason why I like to show styling with some of these wigs, is because we don't always know what's going to work for us. And so you may find yourself in a position where you've purchased a wig that you thought looked so cute on everyone else and really is kind of in your mind's eye the style that you gravitate toward, only to find that you're disappointed and it's just too much hair for you and it looks like a wig to you. Throw on a headband, and that is going to make a world of difference. The reason why I love these headbands is because I'm just pulling some of the hair back. These are so easy to throw on with a wig. They don't squeeze my head at all, but what ends up happening when you kind of get some of that hair off of your face and you use the headband to kind of tamp down some of that volume, suddenly a wig that was way too much for you becomes wearable. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about the journey and some of the things that you've struggled with, and know you can get there, but in the meantime, there's some hacks and some tricks that you can employ to help you feel more comfortable today while you're still learning. Now this wig has a lace front. Let's take a look at that lace front. And it has a left mono part, so it's got a part right here. This part is incredibly densely knotted. You cannot really see it at all. Now for some of you that's not going to be an issue. Maybe you had naturally curly bio hair and you couldn't really see a defined part line anyway. Well, I didn't, and I like to see a part line, so I would probably pluck that part a little bit. It would help it to lay a little bit more naturally on either side of that part, and to me, I think that would look a little more natural. We're all very different though, and just because I think it would look more natural doesn't mean that I would think it looks unnatural if you don't like that and you wouldn't pluck it. I like to point out though, all the little ways that I can make wigs my own so that you can start thinking about ways you might make wigs your own. So there's that parting space right there. And then we've got extended lace all the way, ear tab to ear tab. So you can pull this off your face. The wind can blow it up all day long and it's just gonna look like it's growing out of your scalp. We've got soft ear tabs with bendable stays, an extended nape, Velcro adjusters that you can see I have cinched all the way in, and open wefted. This cap is huge. It is so big on me. Gabor is generally known for running true to average. I have a very kind of an average petite head. I have a 21 1/4 circumference. I could crisscross these adjusters. This is still huge on me even though I've cinched it all the way in. It's really loose on my head. I would be able to wear this with a wig grip. I wouldn't have to take this cap in. If I just threw a wig grip on my head, it's going to hold this wig on just fine. I know from experience. So just if you're not familiar with wig grips, it's something like this. I can link a review of a wig grip that I really love below if you have never really heard of wig grips. But absolutely, this is gonna fit up to 22.5, I think, very comfortably. Maybe even 23 inches. It's hard to really estimate that much bigger than me. That's almost 2 inches bigger than me. But I mean, there's a ton of stretch on this, and I could cinch that. I could crisscross those adjusters. That's how big it is around my circumference. I'm getting a ton of extra cap. It's just so loose on my head right now. So I really think that this is gonna fit average to average large with no problems whatsoever. Average petite, like me, if you wore a wig grip, I think you'd be okay, but because it is so big, the cap just feels, I mean, there's no squeezing on my head, so if you get headaches from wigs, consider getting a wig that's a little too big for you, because that is going to maybe help you, again, to get used to wearing wigs, and you can always use a wig grip or even use a little adhesive on the lace to hold that wig in place. This wig is made out of regular synthetic fibers, so you're not going to take any meaningful heat, like a hot tool, I should say, to maybe get lift in the front. If you like a lot of lift in the front, maybe you like a pronounced cowlick in the front, in order to get that on a synthetic wig, you would have to use a clothing steamer, and you absolutely can do that. I will put a video below showing how I actually plucked the part line on a regular synthetic and got lift in the front using a clothing steamer. So definitely keep in mind that there are a lot of things you can do to these wigs to make them your own. And I really think that having a reasonable expectation that often you're going to have to play around with your wigs so that you're most comfortable in them, that's going to help you feel a lot more secure on this journey. Personally, it's rare that a wig comes out of the box perfect for me. I normally have to do something to it for my preferences, and that's okay. That's how we make wigs our own on this journey. Let's talk about color. Mahogany. The code for this is GL6-30. So when a company uses codes, numbers, those are actually color codes. The color codes on synthetic wigs are not the same as on human hair, so do keep that in mind. So let's break down the color code on this wig. I actually have a blog post where I talk about color on my website, and I have a color chart that will help you understand what color each number represents. I'll make sure that's linked below. But for the purposes of this video, the first number is a 6. That means it's the base color. The base color is a 6. A 6 is a medium dark brown. Brunettes go from a 2 to a 12. A 2 is the darkest brown. A 12 is the lightest brown. We're smack dab in the middle, kind of a medium dark brown. And then the 30 is kind of the highlight color. It kind of depends on each company, is a little bit different on how they represent those supporting colors or highlight colors. But this, I would say, is very well blended. The 30 is an auburn. So we've got an auburn over the top of a medium dark brown. That really gives this an auburn feel. It is absolutely a dark brunette auburn, in my opinion. When I first started wearing wigs, this was one of my go-to colors. I My hair is naturally dark brown. I would color my hair with dark brown, almost black box color because it allowed me to blend the hair fibers that I use to hide my thinning better. And so when I first started wearing wigs, I gravitated toward the super dark browns. I didn't want any highlighted wigs. I couldn't take blonde highlights. It just wasn't something I was comfortable with, but I could wear a color like this. So if you can do warmth, and you don't mind a little bit of kind of an auburn, this isn't red, but it definitely kind of pulls an auburny reddy color, then mahogany might be for you. It's really consistent all the way through. This is not a rooted color. It's so pretty. Let's take a look at this one outside. Thanks for listening to my rambling. You know, some wigs just call to me and I get a little wordy, but I think it's important to understand how the journey can go so that you'll feel more comfortable. And if this one's for you, just rock her and have fun. See you guys soon. Here we are with this, one of my favorites from early on. Color worked so well for me. Until I became flexible, that is. If you're not there yet, don't worry. If you want to get there, you will get there. Hopefully that's giving you a good look. Have a good day. Hey friends, thanks so much for watching. Here are a few videos I think you might enjoy. Go ahead and click on one and watch.